Okay, Aquaba, my people, welcome back. This is round 14, and we are back to the main event. Okay, so here on our stream, we have Weibin once again, and we have someone new on the stream. I believe we have Stewart Houten. Now, can you give us a brief run through on Weibin?
Weibin happens to be the 16th. It's currently ranked 16th in the entire world. So yes, I think that's enough. That alone says more than enough of the type of player he is. The caliber of player that he is. And yeah, we'll be back with that. But just quickly, he exchanged
Yeah, I
L
believe
and
we saw
R.
an exchange. All right, so that means it's back to Stewart. So I'd like to say Weibin is currently topping the table. Is on 11 wins and 2 losses, I believe. And Woko is also coming in clutch on 11 win as well, just a difference in spread. And coming in at the third position, we have Logan Hadam with 10 wins and Ashan coming through with fourth and Alan Paul the fifth.
Yeah.
All right, so now moving on into the game, we have Stewart. I think he has a rack of.
Looks like he exchanged some tiles from his opening rack
As well.
Yes.
Okay, interesting choice from both players. Now that means it's back to Weibin.
Yes, it is.
Now he has a rack of ADI. What are his options here, Coin?
Ah, considering the fact that he just exchanged, you might not want to exchange again. Probably exchanging I or II, or if he's open to throwing um to not skimming, he could do AIRTED or just ID if he doesn't want to exchange or AI. But yes, there's really not much that he can do, but I think it's opting to exchange just IS. I think that's fine.
Again, so now we've seen 2 exchanges from Weibin. Now it's back to Stewart. I believe he has a rack of
REATSH. HASTIER. So we'll be seeing Astia come down. 78 points, Astia. All right.
Okay, so we are seeing the first bingo and technically the first play of this round from Stewart, and Astia has been played for 76 points.
Looks
Wow.
like Weibin has Dentaria times
Okay.
4. Yes, Dentaria, 86
And I
points.
see he's wasting no time in placing that, and then Taria coming through for 86 points.
What an amazing way to kick off this
Honestly,
game.
I mean, after about 3 exchanges from both players, and it's really nice seeing both bingos from both players as well.
Yes, indeed.
All right, so we're back to Stewart, and I believe is yet to pick the complete 7 tiles. Okay, I see him putting that on his rack. Okay, so I see EMPHISA. Wow, this looks very synergic. Are we going to see another bingo?
Looks like we are.
Wow, I think the 7 year would be phasing, and it could play to the har of Astia. It could play Samphire or Seraphim. So definitely, I know we're going to see another bingo here.
Yes, at least one of these should come down. He also has shipmate or mateship for 71 points and 70 points respectively. But Phasing is the top choice with 84 points. Yes.
Wow.
Actually, these two players have a head-to-head record of 1-0 in Stewart's favor. So I don't know if this game would help would even out the current ETS score, or Stewart to be up, making it 2-0.
Okay, so I think we are saying yes, Samphire would be coming through from Stewart. I believe that's some fire.
Yes, 75
All right,
points.
75 points from Stewart. Wow, this is the third bingo in this game and technically the third play as well. I don't think I've seen anything like this on stream. I mean, three plays and then they are all bingos. This is very interesting. Now I see Weibin with the first blank of the game and then he has VIDYEE. Now, what are his choices here?
Probably yes. Playing underneath the Taria, YES or
Okay.
YEVE, but then that exposes the triple triple nil. I really don't think he would be too worried about it, considering the fact that the Y is not so flexible for you to play through. So yes, it might be considering one of those two or something entirely different like Yeet right underneath Samfire. Yeet scores 39 points, keeping IV blank. So yes, he has a lot of options and they all score pretty well.
Okay, interesting. So let's see what it does decide.
All right, if you're just joining us, this is round 14 of the WESPAC main event happening here live in Accra, Ghana 2025. Please do well to like, subscribe to the channel, send and drop a comment in the chat box. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know what has been your highlights for this event. You know, yes, whatever you just want to talk to us about, let us know in the chat box.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so I see Weibin is yet to make a move.
But it looks like he has YEV arranged on his rack.
Okay, so we might be saying if think is not if he does play that, that means he's not really worried about exposing the triple lane.
Yes, like I said, you know, the game is still very much in the early stage, and the Y is not exactly the most flexible tile that you would play a triple through.
I think he might be my move here, right beneath some fire. So he's going for yes. Yes has been committed for 29 points, leaving DEIV blank. All right. So now back to Stewart. He has a rack of BEKLRTT. Now he has duplicated T's and a single vowel. Now, what are his options here?
I mean, it's not that bad of a situation. He has 30 points up for grab if he plays curb through the E of Asia, forming KIRE. Curb scores 30, leaving LERT, or something um, longer like Bolka for 30 points, playing through the A of Samphire. Yes, he could also do that, or something shorter, maybe Baker. Yes.
I think Keb is optimal. You could play Keb is a standard option, and leaving his E and just playing through the E of Astia, leaving ELRT, I believe. So if he plays KERB, he could cash in 30 points.
Yes. Current scores 115 to 153. Stewart currently in the lead. All right, I think there's a bit of an issue with the timer clock, but I'm pretty sure our technical team they're on it, and yes, it will be fixed in no time. Looks like Stewart is thinking long and hard on this particular move. The rack does look quite funny, if you ask me. I wonder what must be going through
Do
his
you think
mind.
he wants to go for Boca? Because, okay, although he's changed his mind, I saw him arranging BLKER. That's one of the options you could play for 30. So I see we're getting Kev here for 35 points as well, leaving ELRRT. All right, so it's back to Webbing with a rack of MDIVEQ blank. I think I would possibly just look for where I could dump the QI and then call it a day. What would you do, Coin?
I think dropping the QI is very optimal. It scores 28, and 28 is not that bad of a score.
Okay. Are there other options you could score more?
I mean, you would not want to use this blank, so without using the blank, I think QI is the best move.
All right. So we see Q high come down from Weibin. All right. So it's back to Stewart with a wrap of Fortnet. Okay. This was looking like a word, but I'm pretty sure it's not. But I do see float. That is flote, and it could play that right under dentera. Although I'll be worried if the hook of D or L or S from the float can come down through the triple lane.
Yeah, I might decide to keep it short and play just felt. Keeping ORT. Felt scores 30, which is, pretty fair. It just scores 3 points less.
Yeah, felt is indeed a safer option here, and he might consider that.
All right. Um, is thinking hard and long about this. We really cannot see the timer to know, how many minutes each player has left. But the technical team, I think they're on it right now. So far, I think the plays have been very optimal, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think so too. Okay, we got the timer back for waving.
All right. One down, one to go.
Okay, I think we're seeing something else here. We're seeing floor, and okay, that's quite interesting. It played FLOR. I would like to say FLOR does take A, Flora, or S, Floors, or Flory, Y, Oak. All right, so we have MED blank VAC arranged on his rack, and I think the blank could be E or I, so it could be Medevac or Medivac. Now, I'm not sure where that would enter.
Probably hooking A, Flora.
I said that, and I just missed that. Interestingly, we could play to the hook, the A hooking the floor and playing just right beside floor for 92 points. That does open the triple lane. Do you think it's something worth considering? Coin.
92 points is a lot to pass up on. You would not want to leave 92 points just because you're scared of a times nine dropping on you. I mean, again, you have to have words that maybe end with ISMS or EMS. The odds are really not that much, for the M to be in that position. So yes, I really don't think you should be that worried about playing is bingo.
Okay, I'm very sure you did see the Medivac move, but I think he's opting to go for, I believe, caved. All right, this is a very interesting move. I wonder what the thought process behind this move is.
I know it's definitely not the fact that it will be opening the triple because the
That
D
exactly what
is
it's
doing
doing.
that already. Exactly. So is it a miss?
Well, I saw him did arrange that. Or could that just be like
Coincidence.
so interesting? Now back to Stewart. I see AAEERTT. All right, so we have some duplicated tiles here. So a move of maybe playing one T, one he, and one he, probably T or it could work. So he could play it just beneath Samfire with the E hooking the P, the E to the H, and the T to KIT. I think that scores about 26 points.
Yes, it does. You might want to do something like data, keeping 80 to take out that triple lane.
Actually, considering the newly opened triple lane, he might do something like that.
All right, 17 minutes on Waving's clock and 16 minutes, about 16 minutes on Stewart's clock. So they still have a lot of time. The Z is yet to be seen, as well as the X, the J. There's a blank on Stewart's rack, but both blank have not been played yet. So there's still a lot of Scrabble to be played.
Definitely. So, both players are taking, I mean, Stewart is taking his time on this one. And let's see what it comes up with.
All right. If you're watching, please don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, say hi in the chat box. Let us know which player you're rooting for.
And let us know where you're chatting from as well. Okay, so I think Stewart played it, top choice, and it's back to Weibin. I believe Weibin he has a bingo of self-dom,
For
correct?
89, yes, very correct. Self dump, 89 points. It could also do leaf mode through the A of Samphire, or yeah, I think that's what it could do, or self dump. And self dump lands in many, many spots.
Okay, so we might be saying self-dom come down from Weibin.
Do you think he would be looking to play to the D?
Yeah, I think that's something to consider as well. I mean, considering the D is still wide open and he would be looking for something to definitely cause damage and increase his points in this game. I mean, it's trailing with about 60. Is about 60 points behind, and if he's been able to get a 9 pointer right now, that would definitely increase his lead by far. So that is something worth considering. But fortunately, I don't see, with his current rack, I don't see anything it could play to the D.
All right.
Okay, so I think he might be considering doing something to that D, but unfortunately, I don't see any word that could fit there.
You
But
know, I find it really fascinating that top players, or you know world class players, most times just leave their rack as it is without shuffling, and they are able to spot their words. I've never really understood how they do it. I think it just comes as a result of the serious reading that they've been doing, extensive reading, that they just spot the word even without touching their rack.
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it comes down to individual preferences. I've seen people, even top players, that do shuffle, and I've seen people that don't shuffle. So people just pick right from the bag and leave it there. They don't even try to like arrange it like most people do alphabetically. So I've seen different styles, and at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. It's just what works for you and you spotting the right move at
Yes,
every
I
turn.
think I really agree with that.
Yeah. So I think it's been over 3 minutes and is yet to make a move on this one.
All right, looks like that was a miss. Looks like he's doing folded instead. I think he's really fixated on, or he was really fixated on taking out that spot. Maybe he wasn't even looking to play a bingo because 92 points is really a lot to pass off and pass out on.
Honestly, that must be really sad for him if he does realize he missed that. But back to um Stewart with a rack of Battenr. Now this is looking very synergic, and I'm not sure if he could play a bingo, but I see that he can play batten. Batten right under it with the T hooking PE, the second T hooking HA, and the E hooking kits for kites. That would score a lot of points and leave just R. What do you think about that move?
Yes, I think that's a very fair move, and it may seem as though luck is on Weibin's side as he went into the bag, and he drew the second blank, so he has both blanks on his rack.
And I also like to say, whenever I get the book blanks, in as much as it might be what most people want, my mind kind of goes blank, no pun intended, for a bit, or at least until I'm able to spot a word, you know.
I think it's harder to imagine the letters that you would call the blanks, not having to deal with just one blank, but two blanks.
Exactly. So, but I believe players of this level shouldn't have so much issues designating their blanks. Okay, so I see Stewart went with Bennett. Okay, so he played Bennett instead. So we would definitely be seeing a bingo from Wellbeing this time. So Bennett is 26 points from Stewart. Now I believe he's arranging. Okay, he's yet to play any, but he has a whole lot of options. Like the options are just his rack. He could play about 61 bingos. So that is he has a lot of options.
We have medicals right underneath it. Um, Medical scores 95, or mathematics also scores 95. He has anosomic, Cummins, cosmices, a lot.
But the top choice, the top score would be medicals or meticals for 95 points. So now let's see what it plays.
So this was
Okay, I see him taking the blank designator. I'm sure his opponents. Okay, I see comments overtrained for Stewart would be fun. Takes the H hook too. Okay, that is a very impressive observation because that would be a niner, a nine letter through the VER. Wow, that would be, I think, the second nine letter we would see on stream if that ever comes down. All right, so are we getting a challenge here?
all right. A cosmic, and it is back. Wow.
I think things have taken a very interesting turn. I mean, considering a whole lot of options that he had, but then he played a funny.
Like you mentioned earlier, it would be hard to visualize, a million and one words with your two blanks. Having two blanks alone is enough headache.
Exactly. So I think we might have that case happen to Weibin. Now, Stuart is pretty aware of Weibin's rack, and he might try his best to condition the board as much as he can.
Although it has AEINORT, and like the person in chat says, that's Otarain Note. But the
Yeah.
person in chat says, it would be very impressive for him to play overtrain through the V of caved and the R of floor, and that scores a whooping 78 points. Wow,
Now, I would
beautiful eyesight.
actually love to see that on the stream
I would
because,
love to see that as well.
and interestingly, overtrade your stake H as well. And I believe we still have. Do we have H left in the bag? I think I see just one on the board.
No, I think the two H's are out. Yes,
Okay.
Samphire and Acia, no H left.
Okay, no H left. So that we won't be saying that.
But now I think we must see Bingo come down. We must see Bingo come down.
Definitely.
All right, looks like he's thinking um hard on this. I find it quite funny that Weibin, who happens to be 16th in the world, missed a bingo and
Two
played a
games.
phony, like Scrabble really does something to you. I think it's just something about the pressure, um, stress and everything. It's really funny. It's really, really funny and ironic.
Yeah, we might consider fatigue as well. But I believe Stewart wants to play reobtain through the B of Bennett.
All right, reobtain has come down for 74 points. Beautiful. Sadly, we would not be saying overtrain. Same rack for Weibin, medicals, maticals, anatomic, atomics, Cummins. A plethora of options for him. But yes, let's just see what it comes up with. All
Okay,
right,
and
we
I
can
do
see.
believe maybe this time he shouldn't miss this bingo because this would definitely hurt him along the way.
Yes, I mean, he still has a chance to come back into this game. I can see in the chat someone says eration maybe if overtrain
It's
missed.
missed, yeah,
Well,
definitely,
we
but
didn't see that. It did reobtain instead. Yep, reobtain is the best play. Yes. After overtrain, I think that's the next best option.
hey, why do you think we've been taking his time?
Like I said, visualizing bingo, two blanks on your graph, not the easiest situation not the best situation you would want to be in, because it's really not easy to have to think about a million and one possibilities, the 26 letters of the alphabet. Okay, what words do I know that combine with this? A lot.
Okay, somebody says orgasmic, possibly. I think that would be through the A of Sapphire. That is
72 points, yes.
yeah, that is
Beautiful
an
find.
option as well. It could play
There's something better than atomics.
atomics.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is something better than atomics. Medicals, maticals score 95 points, close to 100. And I think that would send him, ahead of Stewart
Definitely.
just by a little. Osmotic, yes, osmotic, beautiful. I'm really loving the charts right now. Let us know other words that you can find from the rack.
Okay, I think we are saying
Looks like anosmic is coming down.
okay, so I see you went for anosmic instead.
Anosmic is 92, 3 points less than the best play, and I think that's fine.
Exactly. All right, so we are back to Stewart's with a rack of AETYUWU.
I think is what noting that even after the bingo of 92 points, Stewards is still in the lead with about 45. I think that's due to the misses that
Turn,
yes, the
yeah.
miss turn and then the bingo misses from Weibin. Yes, but it's still anyone's game. The J, the X, and the Z unseen.
Hmm. All right, so what is Stewart's option in this round?
Looking at his rack, same V and R that he could have played over train through. I think if he plays Wavery, keeping UT Wavery is 38 points. I think that's a lot and that's fair.
Definitely. I think other options might be to play maybe your through the RE of obtain.
All right. The someone in chat says anosmic has shut down the space. Yes, I think it has quite conditioned the board because now the C is there, so you can play a bingo underneath as both H are on the board as well as the two blanks. And it's quite funny and ironic that both players have two U's on their rack, two U's each. So yes, I think it's what they call division of labor.
You could say that. And I think he made a move of ooh, ooh. Wow. Okay, so it's back to Stewart with a rack of P. It's back to Weibin with a rack of LUVINUO.
I think Stewards must have taken out that spot because the X is obscene. XI there would do a lot of damage. All right, LUVINOU. Oof, two U's as well as the V. I really think um, you would not want to be in his shoes right now because the V alone is a letter that I really do not like seeing, and then not having one but two users alongside it. Tough position is in right now.
But if he's trying to get rid of the two U's, I mean, he could play Uvula, UVUNA, through the A of Samphire
True, true. But I think the only downside is doing that is the X
X.
is still not out. Yes,
Yeah, I mean, in our POV, we know the opponent doesn't have the X ball. In
he
his
doesn't know
POV,
that.
he wouldn't know that, so he would be very cautious to not play that. I think he might be going for Ovum. Next choice,
Over 13 points, but he hasn't
consider that.
that yet. Other than that, it could do MUON. The M from anosmic MUON. That scores 18, keeping ILUV. But looks like it's going to be doing ovum
Ovum.
instead.
All right, so back to Stewart. AAEPRTY.
Pre-obtain.
Wow. True. Reobtain, it could hook the P and come down to play Pitari, I mean, or Piatri, I believe. Wow, that would be a lot. And
One
that is a bingo, actually. So I believe that will score above 100 points if he's
102 points.
wow. So if he's able to spot that, I might as well say this might just be his game. But
Yes.
never say never, I guess. I mean, we still have the big is out, right?
Yes, we do.
Biggies
We
in the
have the
bag.
X, we have the Z, we have the J. But I think, if he plays Piatri, he might go into the bag to pick at least one of the biggest. But then imagine a scenario where he finds the P3, he plays it, and then he goes into the bag, and none of the seven tiles are any of the biggies.
Hmm. That is a possibility
I
as
think I
well.
really want to see that happen.
Oh my, for a
Oof,
second there, I thought we
oof.
were going to see that come down. So he is going for party instead for
52
52.
points. That's also a
Wow.
lot, but it's
But it's way less
way
compared
less.
to
15 points less.
exactly.
I wonder how it would feel after the game when he realizes, or when someone tells me that, oh, you missed 102 points.
Hmm. That must really be devastating. All right, so now we see waving with DRILEUN. Okay, what can you do here? What can you do?
I see Mooney. Someone in the chat says Mooney.
Yeah, Moody isn't such a bad choice.
I think Mooney is not a bad choice. He gets to open the board, considering the fact that he's down by, almost 100 points. I think playing Mooney gives him a chance to still come back into the game. We have two eyes left. You know, there's the G and then N as well. So yes, it could play bingo ending with ing or something like that. But yes, playing Mooney gives him a chance to come back into the game.
Another option might be to play Mui in the same spot and the same score as well.
Yes, keeping the N in case he picks the G, one of the three G's,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
might hope to play bingo ending in ing.
Now, if he wants to play more tiles out, he could play Eruvin, I believe, through the V of Ovum for about 27 points, leaving the. What do you think about that move?
I think that's a pretty fair move, but then it's not really opening the board because right now, the spots that we have for playing a bingo would be to play from the R down, or to play, you know, between the V and the R. We still have three O's from this point of view. From his point of view, there are still three O's out and two E's. Although we know that it's just one O and one E, over playing something that starts with over, or playing something that starts with the letter I, FLOR, and then the D, putting the I there, florid, playing something that starts with the letter I down. Other than that, not a lot of options for him. So he would have to, try and see how we'll open the board. But it's not doing that. Looks like it opted for dribble instead. Dribble for 30 points, keeping UN.
Interesting choice. Okay, back to Stewart. I believe he has a rack of OAGRAEN. Okay, I see he's going for okay, he's yet to make a move, but he could play in a very obscure spot. That's right beside them, folded. He could play OGEE, with the O interlapping the F, the G to the O, and the E to the L. I think this scores about way above
23.
exactly
Yes, it
23
scores
points,
23 points and it
further
doesn't
increasing his lead,
open the board.
and definitely doesn't improve the board.
And he might decide to, make things a bit harder by playing oregano from the O of floor, that way it kind of takes out the O, conditions that VR spots, and yes, it's going to give his opponent a tough time bingoing.
I might not play that, considering the biggies still out there, and that does open the triple lane. And imagine playing word down to that triple A with a biggie, that might score, that might give back something big to my opponent.
True, true, true.
So let's see what he comes up with. Okay, very close to that spot is playing Braver. Okay, I believe is Braver.
For 20, keeping AON.
All right. So now I see UNSO high NG for Weibin. Okay, this has no straight sevens for bingos, and neither do I see any hooks it could play for eights. So what could he really do here?
Yeah, like I said, playing something from the M of anosmic down, maybe like Mong or Maun or Muni would be good. That's where you still give yourself chance to come back into the game because as it is, you have to play starting from the O or the I of Florid. So yes, I think you could do that.
Okay, that's worth considering. I mean, we are definitely approaching the end game. If he's going to try to bingo, he should be making moves towards that, and he should be considering making moves that would increase his chances of bingoing.
Yes, I think if it does something like MUN, keeping GINS, I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah, definitely. MUON is I think he's considering that as well. I mean, he has UON set aside on his rack.
All right, looks like we have 5,000 left in the bag,
And I
and
see
we have the Z
on
on
Stewart.
Stewart's rack, which means J still in the bag, the X still in the bag, the two O's and Stewart's rack, the last I, the last G, the last A. So which means we have the X, the J, the L, the E, and I think the W. So
Okay, he did
I
good for he went from one, and we see that come through for 18 points. Now back to Stewart with a rack of IGAZOON. Okay, so I see you can go for cause, I believe. OZ looking the C of Anosmic for about 34 points, leaving AG high no. What do you think about that?
think cause is pretty fair, or maybe Kaz, but then that would leave two O's on the track. So yes, I think cause.
Yeah, it might also consider maybe zoo or zone. The Z through the O of one. So that is also worth considering.
But it looks like this game is for. I think this game is Stewart's game, 424 to 460. Uh, no bingos would come down, obviously. LXWSING. I think Weaving can only score, a couple of points. And yes, I
Yeah,
think
someone said Gazoo. That's also what considering that would increase the score of Zoo by a few points, and that might also be worth considering for Stewart. Okay, so let's see what he decides.
if he does Gazoo is 35 keeping INO. And with the looks of things, it would pick the J and it would also get the W's on his rack. It would pick the J and the E.
Okay, I see.
6 minutes on his clock. I think that's more than enough time for him to think, shuffle, and strategize on the perfect endgame sequence. All right, this is round 14. Um,
The main events
main
of
events.
WESPAC, and we've seen amazing moves from both players. And although we saw some misses that we were not expecting, but nevertheless, it's been very interesting to watch both players go at it.
Amazing, simply amazing, But seeing pre-obtain being played would be very, very wonderful.
Yeah, and overtrain as
Overtrain,
well.
yes, overtrain, pre-obtain. And Smith came down, after after a loss of turn. And let's not forget the beginning of the game where both players
Yeah, that
exchanged.
was quite
Yes,
hilarious. All
yes.
right, going for zone, and that has been committed. Zone for 33 points. All right, so it's back to Weibin. He has less than 2 minutes on his rack, and he has LXWSING.
Wow. I really think the most he can do is play XIS for about 30 points, or maybe something different like um, wax, although wax doesn't really do much. But XIS is 38 points. That's playing underneath FLORCALX and the Gravers.
Okay, we might be getting wax. Calm down.
Wax for 21.
All right, so now Stewart is left with high ho GAEJ.
He might be looking to play Jag right underneath anosmic, PNG, um, AAJAG, Jag for 29. Yeah, either Jag or Jig. Although he has 35 points, AGI, playing to the eye of Drivel, G scores 35 points. All right, someone said Zigan for me any day. Hmm. All right, Zigan for me any day. I think the only downside is that from his POV, he could have played the long wise from the
Oh,
O, yes, to the floating O. Although we cannot see he cannot see the tiles that are with his opponent, but like looking at the tiles that are out, long wise is still possible to come down. That's probably
from
why
Weibin.
he had to take that spot out. Said Waving has callings to go out and slings, obviously. Yes, he does. All right, 3 minutes for him to play. It says Zigan was 53 points. Okay, I think it's not to the end of one. I think he's referring to. Oh, I think we missed this. Look at the O of Ovum and the I of Driven.
Wow, that is a very obscure
Beautiful
spot,
find
and
from Mr. Sahid
definitely
Jimoh.
that would have
Wow, 53 points, a whooping 53 points. Zigan,
that would have
amazing.
scored a lot. Wow,
Simply
nice
beautiful.
observation.
Yes, nice observation.
But
All right.
still, long-wise was still a threat, anyways, and Weibin would have played that if that spot was still open. All right, I see Stewart taking his time here.
Although this is a game that is going to win, obviously.
Yeah. Okay, we are seeing Joe come down.
Joe 29 points, and yes, is going to finish now with maybe Collins for 22 or Sling for 19.
Okay, true. He could finish with any of them. And let's see which one he decides to go for.
It says, thanks, ladies. You're welcome, ex UK and ex Africa champion. Wow, it's really amazing to have you here
In our
in our chat.
charts,
Thank you so much for following. Thank you so much for the insights.
we really do
We really do
appreciate it.
appreciate, yes.
Make sure you stick around for the next couple of rounds because we will be here commentating and yeah. All right, so I see Collins come down for waving, and that brings us to the end of the round 14 of the main event, and that seals Stewart wins for this round. Wow, what a game it has been for
Yeah, we
him.
can see them shake hands after the game. I think that's really what the game is about, sportsmanship. Yes, you win some, you lose some. I think he fought well, Waving fought well in this game, but I think some of the misses
Yeah, from
might have
waving.
affected the way the game eventually panned out.
Definitely. I mean, his move of a cosmic costed him because if he could bingo at least once in this game, he might still stand a chance to go neck to neck or maybe even win this game. So the two blanks affected him a bit and slowed his progress down in
Yes.
this game. And this game has been particularly interesting. The first three rounds we had exchanges, and then we had three bingos come through back to back, and then from there on, each players have been playing really well. And now
Yeah.
we have 486 for Stewart to Weibin's 381.
Beautiful blow to blow action from both players. Once again, thank you to everyone in the chat. We see you. Keep dropping comments. We'll be back for round
Round
14.
15. 15. Yeah,
Yes,
this was
sorry,
round
round 15
14.
after this mini tea break.
All right.